What's up, everybody? Derek Lambert here. I'm almost 3.5 years clean. Website's rewiredaddiction.com. Get the free Discord. Check it out. I'm here with Mom, and I don't have my coffee in me yet, so bear with me. I'm just a bit tired this morning, kind of craving my coffee, if you will. But I wanted to tell you guys a funny story. My mom actually brought it up to me. I forgot about it. So while I was in high school, I started smoking pot with the guys and, you know, skipping class and doing the typical thing. And I thought, oh, that's, you know, that was fun and all that. But looking back, you know, I should have gone out with a bang with good grades, but I actually had to be taken out and put back in. I pulled myself out because I was skipping so much. I was failing my second half of senior year.
You were an honor student.
And I was doing really good, yeah, until I started to smoke so much. But I have a story where I had been smoking and keeping it secret from Mom and Dad, and I don't know how much money it was that I played.
It was... Derek came home from school, and we're talking, how many years ago was this, son?
Years and years.
You were in the 10th grade, I think. Yeah, in the middle of the year of the 10th grade. And he was making real good grades at that time. But he came home one day, and he said, hey, Mom, I'm doing a science project, and I'm going to need some money. I can't remember exactly how much it was. I think it was about $80 or $90. It might have been $100. I really just can't remember. And told me that it was, you know, for a big grade for his science. And I'm like, Derek. And he goes, but, you know, it's for a big grade. And I totally understood. And I said, okay. So he had to buy these little plants, these potting, soil potting plant deals. He was trying to make these little plants grow, and he was telling me all about his story, what he was going to do. And I said, okay. So I gave him the money, and the teacher was working with him with it, he said. And so I thought all this stuff was at school, and he was going to be bringing it home. Well, I never saw anything. And he said, oh no, Mom, it's all at school, and I'll bring it home once it starts growing and stuff. And I said, okay. So I noticed, like, my lamp went missing. This little lamp, his father's work lamp. I couldn't find it nowhere. And we had these, we had a water bed that I changed into a regular bed, and it was up high, so underneath it you could store stuff. And I remember probably about a month into it, I'm just cleaning, and something says, you know, look underneath and just see how dirty it is. So a month later, I open it up, and I go in there, and I see all of his little pot of plants, these little plants that are growing about this big, but they look like they really needed some water. I felt bad for the plants. So I think, dang, he did bring them home. He just didn't tell me. I guess he's trying to surprise me. And so I pulled them out, and I watered them and everything, and I put them right back. And I told him when he got home, I said, Derek, I said, your plants for your science project, I said, I found them, they're underneath the bed. I said, you could have told me you had them home. I said, I would have helped you take care of them. And he told me that's what they were for, his science. Well, long story short, he didn't tell me anything till way later. And every day I'm watering those little plants, thinking I'm trying to get them healthy again and get them to grow. And he had a light on. That's what freaked me out. A light was on it underneath my bed. And I'm thinking the bed could have caught on fire. And so way later, he told me what was going on. We had a... Oh, goodness. So we had someone... and a family, kind of sort of family member. Someone who actually had called the cops, if you will. Told them that I was growing pot plants and stuff like that underneath the bed. Now I'm a young... That's what happened. Yeah, and so they show up to the house, and we have this, like, family sit-down discussion talk with these police officers. They were 2 undercover drug agents. Yeah, and I'm like... I'm freaking the hell out, but nonetheless, long story short, I guess, on that one, we sat down, and Kurt freaked out on them. Well, the man and the woman... And, you know, you're right. At the time, I didn't know. I thought I was watering these little plants for a science project. So they came and knocked on my door. Now, my kids were kids. They were like, how old were you? 15 and a half? 16? I think I was 16, 17. Okay, kids. So I invite them in, and I'm thinking, what in the world's going on? Well, we have someone that we know that's always telling on people that, I mean, for everything.
They're always calling cops.
So I'm like, goodness gracious, and we knew it was him. So I'm just sitting there going, can I help you? You know, what's going on? And they said something about someone had told him that there was marijuana being grown in my house, and I'm like, I don't grow marijuana. I don't even smoke marijuana. So long story short, the people said, boys, y'all, you need to talk to us. You need to tell us what's going on. And so Derek opened up, and then he can tell you the story.
Yeah, I told him I had a couple plants that were little plants I was trying to grow, and we threw them away. I mean, to put it bluntly, but you know, I was kind of scared because now they know that I had tried growing these damn pot plants under my bed, and that was just with marijuana. That's just one little story with the marijuana ordeal.
I just about croaked. I just about croaked. I had no clue that there was marijuana growing underneath my son's bed. I've been watering that and trying to baby it and take care of it, and I did not even know that it was a marijuana plant because they were about that big, and they were having a hard time. And I just said, I am so sorry. I had no clue. I really didn't. And I mean, they just had a good talk with the boys, and I mean, we couldn't wait for them to leave. We couldn't wait for them to leave. I wanted to beat the crap out of my son. I wanted to spank his butt like you wouldn't believe. But I was just so disappointed and so embarrassed, and we just had no clue. And that was our very first experience with our kids with marijuana. So that was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. And yeah, people ask me all the time, what do you think about pot? What do you think about marijuana? Do you think it's addictive? Do you think this and that? I think it depends on the person, of course, and how they use it. But it is it has psychoactive, properties to it, and it can be extremely addictive. It can be. I know that I was a habitual user. I used it every day and was always every morning, every afternoon, every moment just lived to smoke. So when I stopped, my anxiety was overwhelming. I had this terrifying emptiness that was inside. I just felt like, oh man, I felt like I was, I guess you would say, just withdrawing and detoxing from it. It was extremely, extremely horrible feeling because, that's all you're doing non-stop every day, all day. It was damn sure not nearly as harmful as, doing opioids or any other harder drugs. It was not nearly as harmful, but it was still effective, and it did, it had its harmful moments where it definitely affected us. And if it weren't for me doing that, I probably would have never dabbled into some other stuff as well. That's just my opinion. The alcohol was probably the biggest one for me to open the doors to trying new things, because when you get drunk, I don't know, you're not thinking clearly. So that's when I actually had tried cocaine while I was drunk one time. I would never have done it, and they tried to tell me it was ecstasy, and it wasn't. So anyway, there's a lot more stories to come. Mom caught me with plants. She was over here planting, watering, doing all that good stuff.
I was trying. And
we'll have more.
Right. And so, it was just a lesson learned for me, because when that took place, I knew that my little boys were not perfect. And that was kind of the beginning of the beginning for me. And that's just I can laugh about that now. But at the time, it was not funny. It was not funny at all. And I mean, to have 2 police officers come to your house undercover on top of that was just, there's no, they were dabbling with marijuana. And for me, that was a big, big deal for me, because I grew up, and when my mom and daddy said don't do it, guess what? I didn't do it. Times have changed. But it was my first experience. I figured out that day or that evening that my kids were not perfect, and they don't always tell me the truth.
Right. We when you're shamed and you've been raised right, then you do feel like that. That's just the way that we were raised, so we definitely didn't want them knowing. But I do want to say that makes, if I was 16 or 17, that makes my habits my addictions, if you will, with substances. 14 years now. I thought it was 12, but that would be 12 if I was dealing with the harder stuff. And so 14 years, if you want to count, somewhere around 14 years, if you want to count marijuana as part of the habit. So I say all that to say, we're going to have more interviews with Mama, and we're going to do more of this. This is just kind of me and my one of the early on examples of me hiding stuff from Mom, and it only was dealing with marijuana. We'll get into some of the more, I guess you'd say, deeper stuff here in another video. All right, y'all, look, subscribe, like, hit the bell, share this thing. Come check out the website. If you guys like this platform, you like what you hear, you like what you're supporting here, obviously come check us out at rewiredaddiction.com. We've got more for you. And also we have the free Discord where we're gonna hold free meetings where people can talk for free. There's so much free in there for people to check out that that option is there. But if you like what you hear on the platform and you want to help support us, check us out at Rewired Addiction. You can help us out financially that way and other ways as well. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Derek Lambert.